Standing.
Hey guys, so here we are in the question and answer period with Robert Long. He has so graciously come back to spend a few more minutes with us. And before we got on here real quick, we started talking about, we mostly talked about during our time period how you got to become this huge production manager, but lately in the last, I don't know, 5-7 years, you've been doing huge show design things. And we didn't really get into that and how that came about and why obviously we know why you enjoy it. It's having the ability to make a show look like something. Like, for instance, guys, if you haven't seen the latest Kiss farewell thing, that the 19th time that they farewelled.
That's right.
Because Robert and I were on the first farewell tour, which was 2001. 2001, I think, or 2000, something like that. Anyway,
so it'll be a 20th anniversary reunion of the reunion.
20th anniversary of the farewelling. Anyway, if you haven't seen that show, it's Robert's design and it looks absolutely amazing. People are talking about it in the industry all over the place. So tell us, like, how did that come about, Robert? How did coming to be a show designer come about for you?
Well, as I discussed earlier, I had always been the kid drawing sets, and as I was moving up through this business, I didn't really have an opportunity to do any of that. And as I became a consistent production manager, you discover that a lot of these acts, at least 10, 20 years ago, they sat with their production manager and came up with ideas of what to do. They didn't always go hire a show designer. You sit back and you look at a Nine Inch Nails show or any of those shows where Roy Bennett and these bigger names in this industry that were the high dollar show designers, that most bands didn't spend money for that, and I found where, that the touring LD and the production manager did almost everything from drawings to whatever it may be, but we weren't charging these bands any extra money, but we're putting in the extra time. We weren't getting paid for it, and we were almost giving away our creative ideas. So why not create a company and take that model where, production managers are a part of a design company, because not only are they designing the show, they're designing how you package it and how it's put up every day and torn down. Instead of someone that doesn't tour designing a show and it's just this one big thing, I don't know, you figure out how to tear it down and put it up every day.
I was going to say, when a big name designer is doing it anyways, you're intricately involved anyways, because you're saying it can't be 8 feet, it's got to be 6 feet, and it's got to be this and this. So you're so involved in it anyways. It's kind of a natural progression. Just, hey, I'll do the whole damn thing. Yeah.
That's right. And it's become, over the last decade, it's become quite a model in our industry, to where, Chris Cratton, look at what Chris has done. Chris has broken off and done the same thing. Even Steve Kidd's broken off and done the same thing. They partner up with a good, strong LD and someone that wants to also be a designer, as I partnered up with Sooner Ruthier, and we move over and start doing just that, and obviously that opens doors to touch all kinds of things when it comes to the live presentation. And it's been great, man. It's been cool. It's something.
And not only that, when you're doing a design for, let's say, a total other production that's your production client, let's say, but you don't production manage the band or anything. When you go to their production manager, you're talking right on that same guy's level, which has got to be quite nice.
That's right. And it's we were always vendor neutral with our design company, right? So, but production managers have their own relationships, as I do with vendors. So they would go, hey, so great design, management approved it. What are you thinking for vendors? And go, well, we know this person can do this, that, and exactly what you said. We're speaking the same language. I don't know how many times I've helped go in and we tag team a vendor to get the right price and get the right equipment and the right gear, just being on the design side with that coinciding production management.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. You're right. The vendor.
It works a lot. To me, it works a lot more efficiently, for sure.
Yeah, the vendor relationships there, because that's crucial. And then where those production managers are coming from. That's absolutely fantastic. Yeah.
But that model has made a lot of sense. And I mean, it's like what Toby Francis and I used to talk about. Why isn't the production manager the tour accountant half the time? Because he knows all the damn expenses every day. It's the same thing, and the same thing goes from a design aspect. The production managers know what it takes, how many crew people it takes to put up X amount of gear, how based on how many points and how many trucks and so on and so forth. So you have to work together anyway to build a budget. And 9 times out of 10, a manager can love a show on paper, but okay, what's it going to cost me? And you've got to sit down with the production manager from that point and figure those things out, which, we learned that we need to start doing that in the beginning, because we come up with a fantastic idea, but it may be billions of dollars.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just it. You have always been a part of a huge production like Kiss, right? That's always been a spectacle, and it's been, always trying to outdo themselves as far as the show goes. But I think that our industry has kind of evolved from being concerts to being shows now, where, it's not just about the music anymore. It's about all the moving parts and the, the Cirque du Soleil element that has come into so many of these pop shows,
Absolutely. So much. I hate to use the term Broadway, but we are now taking a presentation like that sits in one room and really make it a immersive presentation. And who can be more immersive? That's what it's all about.
Well, how did that happen, do you think? Like what drove our industry to what it is now, because if you look at it from an accountant perspective, that's stupid. Like we're spending billions, you know what I mean? So
billions. And that those fans are going to show up anyway that love the music, regardless of what the show is, right?
Yeah.
But from a creative standpoint and having a petri dish to play in, I love it. I love that they let us go there and play with it. Again, I am a devil's advocate though. I come up with fantastic ideas and go, okay, that's too expensive. That's ridiculous.
We can't do that. That costs too much.
Yeah. I mean, it's an awesome idea, but put it over here for someone that can afford it later because it's fucking amazing, right? And you go through all those things constantly. It's why it's become this. You have to give them more. You have to be bigger and better. I mean, how many of the Monsters of Rock tours went out there and went, well, Whitesnake's like, well, they got pyro, then we have to carry pyro, then they have to do this, we have to do this. You know what I mean? It's constant. You have to be one as an act. Whatever you were before, you have to be better this time, just like that record's got to be better. And you keep going this, and this. One thing we brought back to Kiss, using them as an example, and to Motley Crue's final tour is, guys, you started something at a certain point in music rock history. We have to get back to that. This particular Kiss tour, as opposed to 20 years ago even, or back even to the 90s. From that farewell tour we did with the original band to up to this tour, the show's basically been the fucking same. And we had to do, how can you keep the consistency in the balls? That's a rock tour, but bring it in, modernize it, make it relevant again, and that's what I love doing for these legacy acts too. With the Motley thing, there was no drum gag till I started working for those guys. That had gone away way back when on Dr. Feelgood, and sadly, and
I know
I brought that shit back. And,
I knew that was going there.
It's given me some nightmares, some heart attacks, and it's been a pain in my ass, but it really brought them back. Get rid of the titty can, get rid of the things. Let's bring it back, build up the ticket sales. Let's get all ages there again. I really watched Motley Crue go through that thing where they were selling okay tickets in the early 2000s, selling a lot of fucking tickets by the time they retired, and I was a part of a team of people that helped do that. And that by itself was a lot of fun because I got to look at all aspects, from the agent side, from business management, marketing. And, I love it. Like if I could get a project and they handed me all the money, I would build a great team and just go out, market the tour, build it. I love that. So, and back to your question earlier, Ken, that we were talking about was, where do I see myself going? I love all of those things. I don't know if the right opportunity opens up whenever, we get back up and rolling our industry. There's no telling where I'm going to end up because I love all those things. So I may find a new spot in my life that's not so busy, but as far as moving around, being on tour, to doing more marketing and things of that nature. I love that stuff,
Right on. How do you find yourself in those meetings? I'm just curious, like being the guy, I want to be a fly on the wall when you are selling as a as a show designer, these huge ideas like, hey, I'm giving, look at this is going to be amazing. How many of those get rejected, and how many of them are immediately embraced? And then you have to say, but it's going to cost you $1 million,
And then the agent is when you got to go from Detroit to Atlanta with this huge production overnight.
Yeah. This is one of my favorite things that we don't talk about a lot. There is a percentage, just like with any other business, right? That, you have loss in, right? You're going to, especially like a 5-year plan or a 5-year business and business plan, and you're going to lose X amount of percentage on waste or whatever. And the same thing goes for the amount of clients you actually do a proposal for, right? So 20 to 30% of them like, okay, thanks. And you don't hear from a manager. You've had a manager and a production manager bothering you for months to get this in by this date. And you had to get an extra week out of them to finish the proposal because you wanted to be just right. You talked to all the vendors, you've done all this legwork. They're like, okay, cool, killer. Not a, it sucks, not it's great, not a, how much does it cost, nothing. Just a thanks for sitting in. You never hear back from them. Wow. That's my favorite. Wow. I would rather know, but then we have some managers, ones that we've never met before, that go, man, hey, great try, guys. This is not exactly the direction they wanted to go. And we'll go, awesome. They'll open a door for us to go, well, what did we miss? We sat with the band on whether it was a phone call or in person. We talked about things they liked. We looked at the artwork from the new album cycle, blah, 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 blah. Where did we miss something? Because we follow certain guidelines by talking to them. Sometimes it's like, I don't know, what do you see? The Lumineers is like, how do you feel? How does this make you feel? And the last 2 Lumineers tours have been solely based on their music and things that, and that's how we've designed the show. And they've been super successful. But you can't do that with every band. Panic at the Disco, man, we've done 2 or 3 design proposals that management always loves, and it's the band's like, nah, we're gonna go in a different direction. But we don't know if that's money or if it's this or that. Every situation is a different one. So you have to be there's no model when it comes to presenting something, selling it hard, and wondering why they did it or why they didn't do it.
So how do you stay protected if you submit a design, lighting design and set design?
Yeah.
You propose that to them. They say no. They have the PDF. Can the production manager just try to do that design themselves?
Sure they can, and they'll also be talking to our lawyer because everything they receive, has its own binding. This is what first off, there's a set amount of money for turning in a design proposal, whether we get it or not.
Right.
9 times out of 10, unless we know the band. Motley Crue, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? We've got the tour.
You
right?
got the gig.
But if you're a designer, if you're in a designer shootout, you want to protect yourself in. We don't want to spend a month on this damn thing without at least some drafting time paid for. Things like that, right? So you charge them, you tell them up front, okay, we'll submit a proposal, but it's going to cost this much for just the proposal. And if you take us, great, it comes out of the design fee. That way they're not spending it out of pocket, right?
Yeah.
And as far as protecting yourself, we put our own legalese in every single one of our proposals, and does it happen? Absolutely. All the time, not to like, hey, we stole the whole show, but there may be
aspects,
a thing here, a thing there, that kind of stuff does happen, but not
Has it happened to you? Have you seen a show where you're like, wait a minute, that was something that I...
Oh yeah.
Interesting.
But it's not enough to where, do you really want to fuck up your name and go try to sue them and prove it in court? It would take so damn long and so much money. Right. And it's not a situation where it was the entire show. It's not like they, did it on purpose and actually took our fucking CAD and said, use this to vendors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's but it happens. It happens a lot, Yeah. But again, sometimes it's just not worth chasing that shit down. You just kind of shake your head,
Hey, quick question. I know we usually do these like for 7 to 10 minutes, and of course we're glad. But what do you think? I'm just asking because Kiss kind of invented the extra. I always think the meet and greet and all the extracurricular stuff they do. What do you think is going to happen to that in light of the situation we're in now? Do you think that's going to go away?
Well, I mean, the Motley guys have already canned it all together. They had sold a bunch, and I know that Mickey with his private bass sales that he would do a separate meet and greet with people that buy basses. They're setting that up different on how they handle that now. In Kiss, towards the end of the March thing, we were 3 shows away from ending that first leg this year. But we had stopped doing meet and greets from LA out. So about a week before we canceled the tour, we gave up on meet and greets altogether. And I don't see those coming back. I mean, it's going to be at least for that band. Them being older, they are just as paranoid about themselves they are their fans, because you've got Gene over 70 now, and he'll be 71 here in August. So I see that really going backwards in a way, for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think something they could do is to start doing the acoustic things again, or bands can do like a small acoustic performance that protects them from that audience that bought that super high priced second row seat that was supposed to be a meet and greet. They get pre-signed stuff, or they watch them sign it on stage and set it out. People grab it after they leave. Some way to protect them, but no more of the handshake and the big hugs and the tight. I can see all that being postponed until we know this vaccine works, and give it a year out and see how things go, that kind of stuff. But not just this band, almost any band.
Right.
I think that model, there's a way to work this meet and greet model to still generate some income, for sure.
Yeah.
Got
it's
it.
really about the income. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it is. Well, that and listen, the audiences today, I mean, we were kids, man. Dude, I'd stand around the corner and watch the roadies loading trucks. That was as close as we got to that shit, right?
Yep.
Unless you struggled to get to the front row on a GA floor. Well, artists were always way over here from us. Now you can kick the money out to be right here.
Right there.
To any of them. We never had that opportunity. But I think that now happens. So many bands do that now, that's what audiences and the public thinks you can do.
I always liked my rock stars as a kid a little mysterious. I didn't know where they lived. I didn't know their email address. I didn't know their Skype number. I had to wait once a month to get Cream magazine to see one new picture.
Absolutely.
And they're
but that's the world.
now.
That's the world now, though, Tater. That's everybody. You can have access to anyone.
And that's everything. That's every business, not just ours. It's every industry.
Yeah.
There used to be, so much, I hate to say secrecy, but you just didn't have the outlets to see and understand. And I couldn't Google certain thing. I mean, now we have Google. Like, you just use the Google machine for anything you want. And it gives you a base idea of something you wouldn't have a fucking clue on.
Yeah.
Before,
I sweated some copper pipes together the other day, and I did it absolutely perfect right off YouTube. So there you go.
Absolutely. Do you know how many mechanic things I've done to farm equipment, everything else? Boom, straight on YouTube, bro. I got you.
Yeah. It's amazing the resource that you have. It's like you don't have to go to college anymore. You can just I'm going to learn it on YouTube. Yeah.
That's right.
So when is the Kiss Gold watch coming? And when is the when
the 20-year watch? The 20-year watch I earned a long time ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, actually, funny enough about the watch thing, I was trying to negotiate a watch thing for the end of this tour. Well, now I don't know when the fuck that's going to be. I have no clue. As of right now, if we were, the last show was supposed to be what, City Park, whatever the hell it is in New York City, on like the 21st of July, 21, which means that now will be 22. So at this current rate, if we continue to move things to next year, that means we're just pushing everything back. But I don't know if Gene's still walking at 72, bro. I really don't.
But
those boots.
Yeah. So many people have worked for Kiss in this industry. It was kind of like a badge of honor, like, hey, I worked for Kiss, and I talked to other front of house guys, and we all kind of commiserate about working for Kiss and whatever. But are you the longest standing employee of Kiss for the longest?
I am now. I am actually. Dave Matthews and I would be the two.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna say that the Kiss tour I did in '91, Revenge, I think that was Dave's first tour, so he's been there a while.
Oh, he's the one. Yeah, he's got the current record holder, and honestly, he won't be going anywhere. So
I'm sure he won't be. I wouldn't either. If I was a hairdresser for a band that kept me around for 30 years, I'd do it.
Yeah.
But
And he's a great guy. We love David.
Yeah, no, Dave's
Yeah.
awesome. I talk to Dave twice a week. I know.
Yeah.
All good.
Totally.
Yeah.
Tell
And
him
his
we
wife,
said
Karen,
hello.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks a lot again for coming, Robert. We sure do appreciate it. We could go on for hours and hours.
Yeah.
And
I know.
if this keeps going for another 6 months, we might have you back on anyway.
I'm all good, man. All good.
We're gonna have to do it like at midnight or something, so all the Japanese Kiss fans can watch on their
Dude,
normal time.
that would be fantastic. Well,
Yeah,
just
man.
say hi to all my Japanese friends.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Totally.
Absolutely. Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for coming and take
Yep.
care, guys. Tune in,
Good to see you.
subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we appreciate you hanging out and coming to the wrong end of the snake. See you later, guys. Bye.
Take care.